Hello, it is Throwback Thursday, final day of March 2022. Steve Sipress here, and my beautiful wife Michelle was doing a little spring cleaning in our garage, and she found a box with some old games in it. And so check this out. It's the old Mets Monopoly version. How about that? The classic celebration of capitalism board game Monopoly for New York Mets fans like me, wearing my one of my New York Mets shirts in honor of this video. And it's about, I don't know, it looks like it's at least 10 years old or so, because the most prominent player on the cover there, Jose Reyes, and Johan Santana, David Wright. And then it says featuring Carlos Beltran, Billy Wagner, Pedro Martinez. So here's the deal. I looked at the old game board, and it's very cool. I'm guessing they have one of these for every team. They ought to have them for every college sports team and all that kind of stuff. So looking at the board, first Mets fans see a nice big Mets hat there. And then you see the Boardwalk in Park Place are Tom Seaver and David Wright. So Tom Seaver, the #1 Met of all time, in his rightful place. But others on the board, if you ask me, should be being replaced from time to time, right? There's my all-time favorite Met right there. Cleon Jones in the St. Charles spot. Cleon Jones, number 21 for the 1969 World Champion Miracle New York Mets. But here's the deal. The game looks very cool, and my beautiful wife Michelle's like, hey, we got to play. It's been a while. They've got the old Mets jerseys instead of the chance and community cards, right? And I even noticed there's even like Mets specific stuff, like advance token to the Daily News or 66 AM WFAN, like the local newspaper, local radio station that carries the Mets games. You got one of the little plain pieces, the little pewter New York Mets helmet there. How cool is that for Mets fans? And then, of course, you have the old Monopoly, but you have the Monopoly guy kind of hitting the baseball there on the Monopoly money with the Mets logo on it as well. So for Mets fans, this is just a lot of fun. And if you're playing Monopoly, which could last for like several lifetimes playing a game, Mets fans would like to be surrounded by Mets type of stuff throughout the game. But here's the deal. I would think that they are possibly likely to come out with a new version of these team version games. I don't know, every 10 years or so. Ought to be like the 2022 edition. Or if the Mets ever do anything and win, there ought to be all kinds of new players coming in and new cards talking. And in fact, the spaces, instead of the railroads, they're like the times the New York Mets won the World Series. At least 3 of them, 2 of them, where they won. And I noticed another one I thought was just a pennant. Let me look again, but this could be added too. Yeah, so they have a league pennant in 2 of the years. Oh, they're all league pennants that they won. And then I guess there's World Series somewhere else. But if they make another one, or they have, new group of really good players, it would be time for, hey, all updated version. And I and other Mets fans, I'm guessing, although this was, I think, was like a Christmas gift, but another great Christmas gift. Hey, Mets fan, here's the new edition, and we would love that one too. In a similar note, also in the box, 2 for $5. I remember buying these when they were deep on sale after the show had already gone off the air. But my beautiful wife Michelle loved the show, like many Americans, watched every episode. Typical American glorification of the criminal. You fall in love with the criminal. Oh, see, he's a Family Guy. So he's a murdering criminal, for crying out loud. But, we love criminals in this country. We vote for them every couple of years, certainly every 4 years. And we love criminals. But there was the game, the Sopranos game, and then also the 24 show game. 2 of our favorite shows that we saw every episode way back when. Now it's way back when. Back then it was probably fairly recent, but they're still in the plastic. So 2 for $5. I grabbed 2 of these, and I said to myself, honey, I'm sure I brought them home, honey. These are 2 of our favorite shows. We watched every episode. Wouldn't be fun to play the game. But, opposites attract. And so I, being super competitive, love games. My beautiful wife Michelle not so much. So these remain in the plastic. But as she found them today, I was like, honey, she has taken since the shutdown when we moved my beautiful wife Michelle's mom in here with us because she's one of the few people who's actually susceptible to this thing. She's target age, up there near 80, and has like a heart thing and diabetes. And we're like, hey, you're coming with us. Not a bad place to be shut down for the 2 weeks to flatten the curve, of course. And so my beautiful wife Michelle started playing a lot of cards. We play cards to pass the time while there was nothing to do. No sports were on TV, nowhere to go, nothing to do. Played a lot of card games. And so she got a little into the spirit of playing games. And I think we're going to take these out of the plastic and possibly play these games. And she said she wants to play the Monopoly game. So that's a lot of fun. That's my throwback Thursday to the 20-year-old TV shows and the Mets, who have not won a pennant since 1986. This is now, 36 years since then, or whatever. But the business lesson here, and I titled the video, Planned Obsolescence. That's where you create a product that you know has to be bought over and over again. So there is, we'll just say gossip, that lots of things that are American made. Is there anything American made anymore? Back in the day, American made appliances, for instance, were purposely made inferior so that they would break down, like a washer, dryer, refrigerator wouldn't last as long as a really good model. I think now everything's made in China, foreign, or whatever, but back then it was like, oh, the US brands are just not as good, so people have to buy them more often, right? Or if you're selling anything that people do have to buy repeatedly, toothpaste, shampoo, soap, whatever, people have to buy it repeatedly. So in your business, what you want to do is find a way to sell something that needs to be replenished. You're planning its obsolescence. You're planning that it's going to either be used up or be used less or warrant a new edition at some point. So all those buyers can buy from you again and again, right? If the Monopoly people were smart, they would have had something in here when we buy it that said, hey, send this card back with your name, address, phone number, all that kind of stuff for a special Mets something or other. And they would have gotten my contact information. And then when the new game comes out, they would have said, boom, here it is. You can do the same. Keep a list, hopefully you do, of your customers, your clients, your patients, your members. And so that when you introduce the new edition, Apple does this, probably better than any company on earth. That's why they have people lining up around the stores at midnight every time they launch a new iPhone, even though it's, I don't know, was it 99% identical to the previous iPhone? It's got 17 more pixels in it. It's 1/1,000,000th of a centimeter thinner and lighter. I mean, whatever. The battery lasts 18 seconds longer, and yet people fork out another $1,000. Gotta have the newest whiz-bang gizmo, and they line up around the block. So you want to have a list. You want to have products that need to be updated, need to be replaced, need to have new versions coming out. That's one way to make sure that your profits and your revenue are never going to be obsolete. Have your products become obsolete. And I see we have a question here that I can't see from far away. It's not even a question. It just shows me that Toby Mersinger is here. Great seeing you, my man. Toby and I met back in my door-to-door sales days. And pretty much everything we had back then, now that I think about it, had planned obsolescence because it was pretty much knockoffs and junk. So I remember when we were selling watches door to door, very cheap. Did I have to say very cheap? $5 watches. So about as cheap as it gets. And people would say, like, wow, what happens if it stops working? Like, as if like I was going to answer, there's a warranty or you get your money back. I'm like, yeah, that's why you should buy 7 of them, one for every day of the week. Or that's why you should buy 30 of them. You'll have one a month for the next 3 years. Like, of course, they're not going to last, and you're going to have to buy them again. So we would come out with the old 10-piece knife set for $10. Later on, it was 10-piece knife set for $5. You can imagine the quality of those things. Of course, they broke and snapped and, became useless. And so every few months we came out, here's another knife set, here's another knife set, here's another knife set, on and on and on and on. We had a ton of fun. In fact, my beautiful wife, Michelle, when I first met her, taught me a lesson about this, about the shoes that I learned to wear doing door-to-door sales for all those years. We went to Payless and bought shoes for 20 bucks and wore them out every 2-3 months. And my beautiful wife Michelle was like, that's completely backwards. What you do is you buy a really nice pair of shoes for like 200 bucks. This was like 20 years ago. And you get the soles replaced. So now you're spending the 20 bucks replacing the soles every few months, but you have nice shoes instead of just new crappy shoes. And to this day, I still have the 2 pairs of dress shoes that she got me back pretty much near when we first met, when she was a rep for a shoe company for Echo Shoes. And I got 2 pairs of Echo dress shoes that I've had for almost 20 years. And I think replaced the soles on one of them once, or maybe twice, or maybe both. But come on now, that's how you do it. See, that's the planned obsolescence, the cheap shoes, the cheap knife sets, or the Monopoly game with players that need to be updated, or old TV shows that there ought to be a new edition, maybe not of these, but maybe they could have come out with one every year, right? The 24 show season 5 game, season 6 game, season 7 game, and get the rabid fans to give you money for your stuff over and over and over. Anyway, that's it for today. End of business lesson, end of trip down memory game lane. That'll do it for Throwback Thursday, March 31st, 2022. I'll be back tomorrow. No, wait. For the first time since March 13th, 2017, 5 years and 18 days now that I've done a video every single day. Tomorrow, I will not be doing a daily Facebook Live video.